of them. Okay, we'll get our acceleration here. Transmission doesn't seem as responsive. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2021 Ram 1500 Warlock, and we're going to decide if this truck is still worth looking into. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's hop right into the review. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 395 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of this Ram 1500 Warlock. So first off, you guys can see this one's finished in granite crystal, definitely a cool look. And then coming down below, you guys can see we've got the projector halogen bulbs here, and then you've got the LEDs here for the turn signal. And then we have the front bumper that was stolen from the previous generation Rebel, and the front grille as well. So this is kind of a little bit of a parts bin type truck, but I mean overall it looks cool from a front end perspective. Coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And you can see we've got these all blacked out wheels. These were stolen from a Bighorn, believe it or not, and then blacked out, popped onto the Warlock. Again, like I said, parts bin truck. Anyways, here's a quick look at the front suspension. And then we have the oversized fender flares from the Rebel. We've got our Hemi badge. We've got a Ram 1500 badge all blacked out. This one has the trailer mirrors. And then notice how the door handles match the badging and the fender flares and all that. There's your full side view on the truck. This one is a quad cab. And then popping here into the rear, you guys can see we've got the wheelhouse liner here in the back, which protects everything. And there you go. Now here is our key fob. You got the Ram logo on the back, you have the unlock and the lock, and then in terms of the payload capacity, we have 1,373 pounds of it here in the back. And then you guys can see pretty simplistic here, nothing too crazy happening in the bed. We do have the cargo light there at the top. And then lifting up the tailgate, it's a little bit heavier than the newer version of the truck, aka, well actually, there's a 1500 series truck. That version. Anyways, finishing things up here on the rear, we do have the LED taillights here in the back. You guys can see the chrome exhaust tips out either side with the receiver hitch at the bottom, and then you've got the parking sensors down below that, and there you go. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see pretty basic material use. Nice door handle though. And then here are the seats in the back. They're actually very nice. So they're stolen out of a new Bighorn. You guys can see kind of how that all looks. And then underneath you can see the storage space with the trays here in the quad cab. And then you got to kind of muscle it down to get it back down. Not going to pop back there. Legroom is very limited. Headroom's good. It's just a legroom that is limited. So I'd reserve it for kids. So yeah. Now here's the door panel in the front. You guys can see you've got some padding here and down below, so it's a little bit nicer than what you have in the rear. Again, we've got the trailer mirrors. We've got all of our controls here for the windows, the mirror adjustments. And then again, we got the front seats here from the Bighorn. So very nice seats. You've got your power adjustments there on the side, pedal layout just down below. We've got the parking brake here off to the side. Light control, steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there is one more look before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. Again, pretty basic from a material standpoint. We have our gear limiter right here, and then you guys can see we've got our cruise control, controls for the center stack, voice command controls. There are no radio controls on the back of the steering wheel. And again, we have the older style, which is pretty interesting to see. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. Now here is the center gauge cluster for the Warlock. You guys can see you've got analog gauges on either side, and then you have the screen here in the center, which will give you different bits of information on the truck, like fuel economy, for example. Pretty straightforward setup. Doesn't look as pretty as the new one, but functionality is pretty much the same. So here's the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. You guys can see the backup camera with trajectory lines, turns with the steering wheel. Nice. Resolution is okay. Not as good as the new one. Response time with the screen though is really good when you actually press things. As you guys can see, I'm pretty bad at pressing stuff. Got navigation as well, which is another nice feature to have. Overall, it's a good infotainment system. Functionality is great. Dual zone climate, which is another nice feature to have, and that's all for the center. We've got our analog controls here for the radio and the climate controls, and then down below we've got our tow haul mode display control. So for the parking sensors, we have a full outlet. Trailer brake controls, we have our dial shifter, and then we have our driveline select. So we have 4-wheel lock, 4-wheel low, 2-wheel drive, true neutral. And then you can see another little charging port here, and we have extra storage space right there. And then you can see here with the seat, we've got the bench seat configuration. There is more storage underneath. And then we have a dual glove box, just like the new trucks. So that's all fun and nice. And then you guys are wondering, there's not much happening up top here. Black headliner, fixed rear glass, you know, the usual. Now here is the window sticker for the Warlock. You guys can see the base price there and then standard equipment, yada, yada, yada. Here's the optional equipment, but you guys probably can't see because of glare and everything. Sorry about that. So I'll put it there for a second. Anyways, total price, $50,720. And wait for it. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's quickly talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. We are setting off here in this Ram 1500 Warlock, and first off, the thing that I wanted to mention is just how big of a difference there is between the classic Ram and the new body style Ram. I mean, it's been a couple of years now, right, since they've released the new body style. 3 years almost now. Yeah, 3 years now. Pretty crazy. Time flies. Anyways, and yeah, it's such a big difference. So like, this truck is still a very nice truck. Ride quality is good. It's got, you know, really good comfort with the seats, and it's a great daily driver truck, but it's just not as refined as the new one. The new one's just quieter. It's more comfortable from a ride quality perspective. It's just, everything about it is just that much nicer, right? And I mean, it makes sense, right? Against the new version, so you expect it to be nicer. Yeah, you can really feel it going to the bumps and everything. Even like I just drove a 2500 before this, and the 2500 is slightly, I mean, it's close. 2500 is like maybe slightly bumpier than this, but it's pretty close. So like, an old 1500 is as rough as a new 2500, and the new 1500 is smoother than like everything, and it's like a luxury truck. Steering feels good though. Definitely, it's not as comfortable. It's a little bit heavier than the older, or the newer steering rack rather. And it doesn't seem as direct, but it's a good steering rack, and it has a decent amount of feel for a pickup truck actually, which is pretty impressive. You can hear more engine noise, that's for sure. Seems like the exhaust and everything's louder, so there's definitely less sound deadening in this, which is a positive and negative, right? More engine noise, but you get more noise in general from the road and everything else. So it is a little bit negative with that. We got U-turn gang here. Gotta love them. Okay, we'll get our acceleration here. Transmission doesn't seem as responsive. Yeah, the transmission doesn't seem as responsive as the new body style as well, so there is that key difference. So I guess we'll get into setting things up here with this version of the Ram 1500, right? The Warlock, the classic. Exterior wise, I think it's a good looking truck with all the Rebel parts. Interior wise, with the bighorn seats, super comfortable. This doesn't look as nice as the newer trucks, but it's still a pretty good looking interior. Driving wise, just not as refined as the new one. The new one's just smoother, more comfortable, it's quieter. It's just better in pretty much every single way, except you don't hear as much engine noise in the new one. So that's the only downside. But you can easily fix that with an exhaust, just saying. Just get a GT package, right? I reviewed one of those recently. But yeah, I mean, the classic still kind of makes sense, right? It's a good bang for your buck, especially in this market where everything's crazy with the prices and everything. This is definitely a value truck, right? So it's worth it from that perspective alone, if you're wanting just a really good value. And let's get some things up for our video on this 2021 Ram 1500 Warlock. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.